rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Not like I really have to tell everybody that, but it seems to be one of those things that I guess everybody just does. You just sort of introduce yourself or whatever. Anyway, celebrations throughout the world today, as it should be. It appears that the Gaza war peace ceasefire treaty has held, and the hostages, the 20 or so that were still in Gaza after being taken by Hamas on October 7th, they returned. They have returned. Those ones that are alive are back in Israel. In fact, Donald Trump announced it during his speech at the Knesset. And, so there you go. Great day for the country, for Israel. And I believe there were 2 Americans who were a part of it, too, that got returned as well. So, fantastic day, fantastic triumph for Trump at this minute. Now we'll have to see. They move into phase 2 of the 20-step plan, 20-plus step plan for peace in the Middle East. But considering the fact that Trump was able to broker or get close to brokering the Abraham Accords, it doesn't really surprise me that this is finally coming down to the end, which is, again, it's a good thing. And, to be honest, I have been hesitant to place Donald Trump into the classifications of some of the greatest presidents of the United States. He's a good president, don't get me wrong. But if this peace deal can hold, and if we can, obviously rebuild Gaza and have a good Middle East peace, I think he's definitely going to have to be in the running for sure. Now, don't get me wrong, his accomplishments so far have been pretty damn good for his second term. And given the fact that we are not even a full year into his presidency, his second term of his presidency yet, and we still have 3+ years to go, I'm excited to kind of hear and see and experience what's going to happen in the next 3 years. And if he can continue this pace, this breakneck pace, and basically do everything that he is saying he is going to accomplish, I think we're going to be on the road back to where America needs to be. And Trump being able to perform those tasks and getting them completed, I believe, is also going to go a long way towards potentially getting J.D. Vance in as one of the youngest presidents that we've ever had. And, and continue the work to bring America back from the brink of the Marxist, Leninist, Stalinist, socialist, communist morons of the left. So, there we go. Also, too, and thank you, My News, for reminding me, but also, too, don't forget, today is Columbus Day. It is also the birthday of the United States Navy. That's right. Happy birthday, Navy. Go Navy. Coming from a grunt, ground pounder. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, happy birthday to the United States Navy. If I had remembered, I would have had their song up and we would have played it, but I unfortunately don't have it. So there we go. So congratulations, Navy. And there you you know, good job, and you're doing quite the job, especially in the South Caribbean as well. All right, folks, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Oh, goodness. I got to chatting with my Whiskey Warrior P1s over on Rumble. For those of you that don't know, Rumble will open up and allow you to come in early because of the way that things go. They allow you to come in early into the chat, and you could chat. You can go back and forth and chat things, you know. And I was busy chatting with my Whiskey Warrior P1s over there on Rumble. That's another reason why you want to get to Rumble, because Rumble allows you to, as soon as I open up the room, it basically allows you to chat. And I try to do that 30 minutes prior, so you really need to get on to Rumble. Rumble's got some advantages over the others, other than the fact that it's the free speech alternative to YouTube. Anyway, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Tonight is Fat Paws. Fat Paws is up for tonight's Pledge of Allegiance, so if you are of mine, please stand, remove your hat if you're wearing one, like me, and place your hand over your heart and follow along with Fat Paws as he recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And, of course, I thank you, kind sir, for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself performing the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file that you have created, and send it off to me. You can attach it to an email and send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at americanperspective.online. Or if you're doing this on your phone, apparently you can share it to me, and that does the exact same thing. It basically attaches it to an email. Sends it off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at americanperspective.online. And I will get you into the rotation. We're at 20. I'm looking for 21 and 22. Because you know I like even numbers. So 21 and 22. Maybe two people will submit them at the same time, and then I'll have to flip a coin as to who's 21 and who's 22. Anyway. All right, let's talk about tonight's headline sponsor. I'm wearing one of their fabulous shirts right now. I'm wearing one of the male cotton polos of their wonderful. These are wonderful shirts. I'm just telling you, they're just fantastic shirts. But let's go ahead and talk about theflagshirt.com. Theflagshirt.com, all one word, is their location on the web. And you can still, today, Columbus Day, you can still get 50% off. I'd hurry up and shop now. If you're ready, if you want to get that 50% off, you better do it soon, because otherwise they're going to be closing that down and probably starting something else. But hey, go and check out their site regardless. Check out men's, women's, kids, made in the USA, Independence Day outfits, featured brands, all kinds of accessories, of course, in the fantastic red, white, and blue. They've got some really sharp styles over there. You really got to check them out at theflagshirt.com. And if you order $75 or more of their product, as always, they will give you free shipping on orders that are $75 or more. So go to theflagshirt.com, get all of your stuff together. But I know not everybody can order $75 worth of gear. Maybe you just don't want $75 worth of gear. Maybe you only want one shirt. You're like, you got that one shirt that you want to have for, for yourself. And, so you head on over to theflagshirt.com. But before you do that, though, you have got to go over to flagshirt.americanperspective.online. That's flagshirt.americanperspective.online. And you will be presented with a coupon code that you can copy and paste into the promo code box at checkout at theflagshirt.com. And you will go ahead and get $5 off your order. So head on over to flagshirt.americanperspective.online, copy and paste the coupon code that you're presented. Take that coupon code, put it in the promo code box at checkout at theflagshirt.com, and you'll get $5 off your order on American Perspective. Do it today. Head on over to theflagshirt.com and get yourself patriotized. Well, before I get into it, I just was reminded of another day. Tomorrow is Charlie Kirk Day. He is also slated, the Presidential Medal of Freedom ceremony is also slated for him for tomorrow as well. Donald Trump is supposed to be handing or presenting the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Charlie Kirk posthumously. I think that's how it's pronounced. Anyway, tomorrow as well. And it is also his birthday as well. So there you go. You should always, supposedly, apparently, according to one of my Whiskey Warrior P1s, I have no reason to question, but if you wear red tomorrow, that is in support of Charlie Kirk. And so wear red tomorrow for Charlie Kirk Day, his birthday, and to celebrate his being awarded of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He would have been 32 apparently yesterday, or I'm sorry, tomorrow. He would have been 32 tomorrow. All right. So Trump, of course, ends the Gaza nightmare. He has brought every living hostage home. Just to give you an idea, there were celebrations all over the place in Israel, flashing and waving Israeli flags, as well as waving American flags. Donald Trump was honored in the Knesset, even by the opposition party leader. Bibi Netanyahu, obviously, who is currently in control of the government, but Bibi Netanyahu stated clearly, and I think correctly and succinctly, that Donald Trump is the best and most, the best friend that Israel has had in the White House, ever. And, Donald Trump in his first term, he moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. And now he has negotiated and brokered this peace deal in Gaza, which, again, we're going to have to kind of see what happens here. But at least we are on a positive path towards peace in the Middle East. I mean, the bombing of Iran, oh, yeah, that couldn't have played a part in it, could it? I'm being sarcastic in case you haven't, in case you can't hear it in my voice. But anyway, there were celebrations all over Israel. The Knesset actually even broke out into a chant for Donald Trump during Donald Trump's speech. And Donald Trump did quite a lot for it. And people spoke, parents spoke with their sons for the first time in video calls over there. In-person reunions expected later today, which they probably already happened. I mean, this is just fantastic across all of Israel. Now, the authorities said that there are 28 more bodies of other hostages that remain in Gaza. They're expected to be returned in the coming days. So, yeah, we're just going to have to see. Now, many of the hostages that came back, of course, were fairly emaciated and had, just like other hostages that were freed by the Israeli Defense Forces, they all pretty much described extreme abuse during their captivity, torture, starvation, sexual assault, things like that. Anyway, Now, the one problem or the one challenge with all of this, of course, is that we only got back, 28. We'll be presumably getting back 28 bodies and 20 live folks, but we're sending back, by my comment of we, I mean the proverbial we, meaning Israel and the U.S. being partners. Israel's going to be sending, I think, something close to 2,000 folks of criminals and so on and so forth that have been in their jails and back to Hamas. Yeah. So anyway, under the agreement is that Hamas is required to hand over all of the bodies of all the deceased hostages that it can locate, and then there's going to be an international coalition that's going to work to recover the remains of those still missing. So there you go. And yeah, here's even CNN talking about it over there. Take a listen.
And welcome back to CNN's breaking news coverage, as we are covering a historic moment here in Israel, because for the first time in 2 years, over 2 years, 738 days, Hamas holds no living hostages in its captivity for the first time.
There you go. There you go. So, yeah. Anyway, so again, all the hostages are safely across the border. Once they came across the border, there is the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, is set to release nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, including those that are 250 serving life sentences over there. So, yeah, I don't know why, Israel gets 20 and Palestinians get 2,000, but anyway. So all of this, of course, was pre-Trump actually arriving in Israel. Although when he landed, that was a big deal. There's a lot of people happy over there, and he promised on the campaign trail that he was going to get them out, and he got them. He got them out. So there you go. I mean, just a fantastic end to it. Now, I titled one of my episodes here recently about Trump not getting the Nobel Peace Prize. To be fair and honest, the nomination period had closed long before this even came about. So he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize for this year. But I can almost certainly guarantee you he has been submitted by multiple nations. And so there's a possibility that he very well could get it for next year, which I think honestly would be very appropriate. I think he definitely needs to get it. I think that he did way more than Obama ever thought about doing in order to get to this point. And so, yeah. Well, I don't know if this is revenge, if this is just being pissed off, if this is just, Hamas being Hamas. Probably just Hamas being Hamas. But apparently Hamas, according to reports on Fox News, Hamas attacked its own people. Its own people. Okay. Seriously? I'm telling you, folks, Hamas is literally a terrorist organization. They are not Palestinian. They are not a Palestinian order. They shouldn't have even been in charge in the Gaza Strip, being in charge of the Palestinian people. They steal from the Palestinian people. They stole all kinds of aid and everything else from the Palestinians. I mean, even the United Nations admitted all of that. So here we have dozens killed in Gaza as violence erupts between Hamas and some armed clans. So apparently there was clashes between local militias that came ahead of the televised address in which Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the imminent hostage release the beginning of a new path. Yeah. So, yeah, really. Anyway, I just want to take a closer. I want to show you this. This is Gaza. I mean, this is something that, yeah. Here, this is Hamas raiding Gaza's Sabra neighborhood, targeting the Dogmush clan over alleged Israeli cooperation. So Hamas believed that the clan cooperated with the Israelis, and they went ahead and attacked them and killed them, dozens. Yeah. So if you think that Hamas is doing this because they are magnanimous and that they want a free state of Palestine and that they're going to live in peace, yeah, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. That's why I'm cautiously optimistic with the whole idea of Hamas actually taking this in stride. So anyway, one witness told the BBC this time people weren't fleeing Israeli attacks, they were running from their own people. So according to reports via the Israeli outlet Nyet, no, that's not Nyet as in German Nyet, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it's Y-N-E-T. The violence erupted when Hamas militants raided the neighborhood of Sabra in Gaza City, home to a clan called the Dogmush, D-O-G-H-M-U-S-H. Yes, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. But anyway, also known as the Al-Dogmush family militia. The report said the Hamas Interior Ministry had accused the militia of attacking its forces, while members of the Dogmush clan has said Hamas had exploited the ceasefire to target them over alleged cooperation with Israel. A relative of the clan said, "Children are screaming and dying. They're burning our houses. We are trapped. I don't know how they entered with all kinds of weapons. Where were they when the Jews were here? They arrested all of the youths." And that's not Ute, but that's youths. Line them up against walls, pointed weapons at their heads. There's a massacre here, another member said. So in total, Nyet, whatever, reported 52 members of the Dogmush clan were killed and 12 Hamas militants were killed. Yeah. These guys, I'm telling you, these guys are... I'm sorry, they just need to be wiped off the map. They don't belong. They don't need to belong in civilized society. They just need to get wiped off the map. And unfortunately, with this peace deal, it's probably not going to happen. So they're still going to hang around. Anyway, yeah. So, still very tense situation over there. But yeah. So there you go. Amid the bloodshed, 3 other anti-Hamas militias publicly declared their support for President Trump's peace proposal, rejecting Hamas's authority in the Gaza Strip. So maybe they are going to change. The Palestinians might change a little bit over there. Now, America is slated, along with others, is slated to send a whole bunch of money and aid and everything else and help rebuild Gaza and make it into I don't know, like we always do. I mean, we've rebuilt the Japanese, we helped rebuild the Afghanis. Yeah, that's just the way that we do things. And so we're probably going to rebuild Gaza too. But again, I caution because Hamas took over the Gaza Strip in 2006, at the end of 2006, start of 2007. Didn't do anything until 2023, October 7th, 2023. So even if they go dormant for 10, 15 years, you can pretty much bet your bottom dollar they're still going to be there, and they're still going to cause trouble. What we really need to do is, again, just get rid of them. Wipe them off the map. Sometimes you just got to do it. Anyway, so in speaking about all of this, I'll get to something here about J.D. Vance in just a second. But first, let me talk about this wonderful thing, this wonderful elixir that I drink every single morning in my 16-ounce cup given to me by my two wonderful children. Says, "Father, like no other on the outside." I think of that every single time I pick that thing up and I take a sip. And I got to tell you, if you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now is your shot. The 1775 starter kit has dropped. There is a limited number of units available. In each unit, you're getting the Bull Dark Roast that hits hard, the Smooth Medium Roast, as well as the Vitality Mushroom Coffee. And that one has clean energy and laser focus with no crash. You can try all three of them. You can pick which one you want to move forward with. Maybe you want to pick 2 or 3. Maybe you want all 3. I don't know. You could like all 3. There you go. Anyway, all of them are single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you're also going to be getting my personal favorite, the gold spoon clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. You'll also be getting a frother that is strong enough to stir up not only your coffee, but also your mother-in-law's opinions. And I guarantee you she has a lot. You'll also be receiving a 1775 tumbler in black. It's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for just a low, low price of $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 coffee blow up on Rumble and are wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler alert, it is. Go to the numbers 1775 coffee. Those are smashed together as all one word. 1775coffee.com/studio, STUDIO, and grab your starter kit. That / by the way, folks, is your question mark keys. So once again, that's 1775coffee.com /studio, STUDIO, and grab your starter kit. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Go to 1775coffee.com /studio and grab your starter kit today. All right. Well, J.D. Vance, I gotta love this guy. He takes on the media. Doesn't matter who it is. He's willing to take on the media. All of them. 100%. Full on, like a bull in a china shop, but with a little more finesse. He was in an interview with Jorb Stephanopoulos. Yeah, I know. That's not his name, but I'm going to call him that anyway because that's what he is. He's a snuffleupagus. He's just a complete, utter moron. But J.D. Vance was in this thing, in this interview, and well, let's just say that J.D. Vance, he wasn't going to pull any punches. He kind of roasted him quite well, I think. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a listen to what J.D. Vance and Snuffleupagus had to say to one another.
I don't know what tape you're referring to, George. I saw media reports that Tom Homan accepted a bribe. There's no evidence of that. And here's, George, why fewer and fewer people watch your program and why you're losing credibility. Because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this story regarding Tom Homan, a story that I've read about, but I don't even know the video that you're talking about. Meanwhile, low-income women can't get food because the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have shut down the government. Right now, we're trying to figure out how to pay our troops because Chuck Schumer has shut down the government. You are focused on a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real issues, George. I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
No,
Well,
George,
Governor
I
J.B.
said that I
Pritzker's
don't.
Up next. We'll be right back.
He was, Snuffleupagus was, he was embarrassed so bad that he had to go to a commercial. He had to go to a commercial break. And unlike what Snuffleupagus thought, J.D. Vance actually did answer the question. He literally said there's no evidence of it. I mean, what part of no do you not understand? No, he didn't take it. He did not take this whatever $50,000 bribe that you guys are thinking of. He didn't take it. There's no evidence of it. Well, there you go. He clearly didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing. Okay, well, there you go. So, he went ahead and cut to a commercial. Yeah, we've got, this whole thing. We got peace in the Middle East. We've got China threatening our critical supply chains. We've got the government shutdown. We've got all kinds of stuff going on all of this. But, Snuffleupagus doesn't care about any of that. He just wants to focus on whether or not Tom Homan took a bribe. Yeah, anyway. And this is one of the things I got to tell you that J.D. Vance has turned into an art form. Being able to turn things back around on the leftist lunatic mainstream media talking heads and turn them into basically blubbering idiots is, exactly. So, there you go. Just gotta love it. All right. Well, we have another kind of a quiet news. One of the things that has been going on with this government shutdown has been the payment of states to fund, let's say, illegal aliens and their health care. And the whole thing through Medicaid. So part of the problem with this, or one of the things that is about this, okay, you've got to understand, these Medicaid payments are not exactly direct payments from the government. It's basically the government, meaning the federal government, to backfill when states pay things out. For an example, okay, the Democrats have been spent years insisting that they're not providing free health care to illegal immigrants, and that doing so was actually a moral imperative. And they haven't kept it a secret. I mean, in 2020, in the Democrat presidential primaries, every single candidate said that their health care plans would cover health care for illegal aliens. Now, all of that, of course, has culminated to this current shutdown, which is what the Democrats have done, regardless of what the leftist lunatics seem to want to try and tell you. It is the Democrats that have shut this down. There's 55 votes in the Senate. Yes votes on the continuing resolution. I believe there's only one, maybe two Democrats who have actually voted for it. Of those two, one of them is John Fetterman, who's acting more like a moderate Republican than an actual Democrat. But I digress. So, according to a report that was in the National Review, Gavin Newsom in California, Tim Walz in Minnesota, and J.B. Pritzker of Illinois have actually all rolled back or frozen their state Medicaid programs for illegal immigrants in recent months. Why are they doing that? Well, they figured it out. Believe it or not, they actually had a thought. They had two brain cells to rub together to create this thought. It is simply not sustainable to keep offering taxpayer-funded health insurance to illegal immigrants. Period. So all of this talk about, illegals, illegals, we're gonna fund their health care. We're gonna take care of them. We're gonna supply their insurance, okay? All of that talk is now quietly being removed. So Walz, of course, previously celebrated Minnesota's expansion in 2023 as a major achievement, and now he's consenting to cuts to it because the state itself is staring down a $6 billion, yes, that's a B, billion-dollar deficit by 2028. California alone spends $8.5 billion annually providing Medi-Cal to illegal residents, and around 1.6 million illegal aliens enrolled after Newsom expanded that eligibility, joining the roughly 15 million Californians who are already in the program. Illinois saw its immigrant health benefits program balloon to over 30,000 enrollees in just 3 years. Now, that entire time, it's costing $682 million in 2024 and contributing to Illinois' state deficit of $3.2 billion. That's right, with a B. Yeah. So, Now, the financial burden, by the way, is only part of the problem. The influx of illegal alien patients has created severe shortages in healthcare access for everyone, which is exactly why you have challenges and issues and problems, okay, with these kinds of programs. In California themselves, about 40% of adults couldn't see a doctor for urgent needs within the state-mandated timeframes in 2024. Specialist care is even worse. Folks, if you guys think that having like Medicare for all, like the left wants, is going to be a fantastic thing for America, no, it's not. It's much better to leave the government out of it and let private entities take care of things. That's just the way the world works. It just works better because private entities can do it more efficiently and much better than anything else. Now, all of this, of course, is forcing some uncomfortable admissions. Newsom himself is quoted as saying, "I don't want to be in this position, but we are in this position." California's new budget freezes Medi-Cal enrollment for illegal aliens and will require current enrollees to pay a $30 monthly premium starting in 2027. Minnesota lawmakers from both parties voted to strip illegal aliens from Minnesota care entirely. You'll remember that Minnesota representative got shot by that idiot, that mentally ill idiot because of that. And Illinois, by the way, is shutting down its health care benefits for immigrant adults program altogether. See, this is the point. These people are attempting to, and by the way, too, just so everybody's kind of clear, these state programs, especially like the one in California, was actually a 50-50 split with the federal government. So don't sit here and tell me that, oh yeah, the federal government can't, they're not funding illegal aliens. Yes, they are. Because what happens is the state puts out the money. And then the state goes back to the federal government and says, hey, here's what we paid out. You guys owe us half, or whatever it is. And the federal government goes ahead and pays it. Because they don't have any checks and balances in the system. Or at least they used to not have it. So, yeah. I mean, this is ridiculous. First of all, just again to point this out, Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution has nothing listed as a federal government responsibility, constitutionally mandated responsibility for health care. And in fact, the federal government isn't even supposed to be in the healthcare business. Or schools, education, company loans, business loans. They're not supposed to be in any of that. See, and anyone who actually reads the Constitution and understands the fact that the federal government's powers are limited and enumerated within the Constitution would know this. But I digress because, I can't repeat myself too many times. Otherwise, you guys will stop listening. But yeah, they slowly have pulled back on all of this. They're quietly rolling back these things, but yet still standing up for, illegal aliens for whatever reasons. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, they all just need to go. So, and here's the reason why the Democrats in the federal government are trying to do this, because again, as I pointed out, and this is the truth, the federal government matches whatever, California as an example, whatever California pays for Medi-Cal. This strategy enables the state to extract additional funds from Washington, D.C., funds that then can be used to pay for coverage for undocumented immigrants, and read that, illegal aliens. The One Big Beautiful Act, which President Trump signed into law past July, will curtail, but unfortunately not eliminate entirely, these state provider tax schemes. That's why, right there. Because the governor of California, the governor of Illinois, and the governor of Minnesota all called up their buddies up there in Washington and said, hey, you guys, this cuts off all of our funding. We can't get it back now. Yeah. Well, the federal government shouldn't have been involved in the first place. Period. End of story. All right. Before I get on to my next subject, I want to hit on something that popped up in the chat. Nana of JJS says, did you all see the naked protesters in Portland over the weekend? Naked ice protesters. Well, I hope that nobody actually saw them. But, yes, they did protest. They had a naked bike ride. Now, here in Seattle, we have the Naked Pride Parade every year. And so if you want free porn, all you got to do is go down to I think it's the Capitol Hill district. You can head on down there when the Pride Parade comes on, and you can get your free shot of whatever it is that you're looking for. Believe me, it's not going to be like what you find in porn magazines. Anyway. Yeah, they all, the funny thing about it is the photos that I saw, actually, believe it or not, was they had those clear plastic raincoats over them. So apparently it was raining during the bike ride, and so they were driving down, riding down the road by this ice facility or whatever, and they had the clear plastic rain jackets on. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, these people. And actually, I even made a comment to Mrs. Whiskey with regards to it, saying, if the Portland police had any kind of balls at all, and yes, I did say balls, and I wasn't going after the rank and file, okay? I didn't necessarily mean it as the rank and file. I meant the balls of the head, the people in charge. If they had any balls at all, they would be arresting all of those folks for indecent exposure. Oh, yeah, anyway. Didn't quite come out that way. as far as I'm aware, yes, 3 Chevy, their bikes did have seats, but believe me, all of those particular areas were kind of blurred out in the photos that I saw. Thank the Lord. So, anyway, so there you go. All right. Well, this shutdown thing might actually be starting to break a little bit in terms of the Democrat Party. Here in the Western Journal, Obama's former DHS secretary actually backs the Republicans on the shutdown. He announces his break from the party line over it. So, yeah. Former Homeland Security Secretary Jeh Johnson, and I'm saying Jay, I think it's J-E-H is what it's spelled, but Jeh Johnson, said he's ready to break the party line and urge Congress to reopen the federal government. I mean, they need to urge the Senate, not the Congress. The House of Representatives has already done their job. Anyway, the government remains shut down, of course, after Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and most Democrats blocked the Republican spending bill. Speaking on the show The Source with Caitlin Collins, Johnson said that he would break from the party line and listed several reasons why they must act to open the government. He said, quote, "I'm going to break from the party line here on this. I'm a Democrat. I'm with John Fetterman and Angus King. The problem I see here is that to pass the budget, it needs 60 votes in the Senate. And what is happening each year now, and what I fear is going to happen in the future, is the minority party wants to link that to some other very, very important issue. Affordable health care is critical, obviously, but I fear that this is going to happen every year, every September, October, November. The most basic function of government the most basic function of Congress, important I get this accurate because I'm quoting him, is to fund the government, turn the lights on, keep the government working so that the 3 million people who are public servants are able to do what they do to serve all the rest of us." Johnson said that he was motivated to keep the agency open after hearing from a TSA worker who was battling stage 4 cancer and feared missing her paycheck. Johnson said, quote, "I'm sympathetic to the workers who are caught up in the middle of this political fight and being used as a political football. 10 years ago, Republicans wanted to shut down DHS over immigration, and the motivation for me was a worker. A lot of these people do live paycheck to paycheck. The TSA worker from West Orange, New Jersey, came to me and said, Mr. Secretary, I have stage 4 cancer. I need my paycheck for my copays." And that was his motivation. When asked directly if Democrats should vote to reopen the government, Johnson didn't hesitate. "I believe that Congress should vote to reopen the government." Yeah, except, Johnson, just small correction, very small correction here. Senate! The Senate needs to open. All they need is 5 Democrats. That's it. 5 Democrats. Or even Rand Paul and 4 other Democrats, or Rand Paul, that one independent, and 3 other Democrats in order to open up the freaking government. So, yeah. Anyway. These people, they just don't seem to get it. They just do not seem to get it. John Kennedy, of course, said the Democrats are prolonging the shutdown by demanding the return of millions in what he described as wasteful foreign projects. I don't know if he's caught that. I didn't bring any receipts on this, but Kennedy walked down several of the programs and the things that the Democrats were basically holding the government, its employees, and the American people hostage for. Yes, I said it. The dumbass Democrats in the Senate are holding the American people, the employees of the federal government, and the government itself as hostage to get what they are asking for. He cited a list of rejected items that they wanted reinstated, including things like, check this out. Seriously, $4 million for LGBTQ initiatives in the Balkans and Uganda. What the? Why are we spending money on that? Again, I refer you to Article 1, Section 8. They also want $3.6 million for dance workshops for male sex workers in Haiti. What the hell? Really? And $6 million for Palestinian media subsidies. Why are we funding these things? Is Congress just... Congress seems to believe that they have carte blanche ability to just pass whatever law that they want to be able to pay with other people's money whenever they want. I just can't. Every single one of our representatives needs to go back and read the Constitution and read the Federalist Papers. In particular, Federalist 14, 41, and I believe it's 45. That's what they should read. Because in all three of those, it was clearly stated by the father of the Constitution, James Madison, that the powers given to the government were limited and enumerated. That the federal government is to handle things that are too big for the states themselves to handle, but that the day-to-day interactions with the people were supposed to be on the states. That would include things like healthcare, education, all this wonderful funding and crap that they've got going on. All right. You know what? I think I'm going to hold off on a couple of these articles. I'm going to hold off on them, and we'll talk about them tomorrow because I'm just seeing the time frame here. Well, here is kind of an interesting splitting of hairs for this appeals court. Now, you recall a federal district court here recently on October 10th granted the state of Illinois a temporary restraining order halting the National Guard deployment in Chicago. Yeah. So anyway, that went to a federal appeals court because the Trump administration, of course, immediately appealed it. Now, here's how they're splitting. Here's how they're splitting these stupid-ass hairs. The federal appeals court has apparently ruled now that the Trump administration can continue to keep National Guard troops in Illinois under federal control, but apparently can't deploy them into Chicago while the appeals process plays out. What? Whoa. That's like somebody saying, hey, you know what? You can buy that chocolate chip cookie, that box of chocolate chip cookies, but you can't eat them. Can't eat them. You can spend the money to have them, but you can't eat them. Just not allowed. Yeah. Okay. This is another one I think that's definitely going to get overturned. So this of course followed immediately after Judge Perry initially did the temporary restraining order. The Trump administration filed an immediate appeal with the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals. And on October 11th, which was a couple days ago, the appeals court determined that the lower court could not prevent the Trump administration from calling up the National Guard troops for federal service. But they declined to block the lower court's opinion in terms of barring those troops from being deployed throughout the state of Illinois. So what are we going to do? We're going to send them up there and they're just going to sit? So about 500 troops from Illinois and the Texas National Guard have been called up to deploy in Chicago. Most of those troops have remained at the Army Reserve Training Center in Elwood, Illinois. And a small contingent had already been sent to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Building in Broadview, Illinois. So, yeah, there you go. The appeals court decision read, members of the National Guard do not need to return to their home states unless further ordered by a court to do so. You know, these guys, they just need to, I'm telling you, the Supreme Court basically just has to get off their ass and essentially basically say, look, anything that was created by Congress can't stop anything that the president is doing. That's our job, which is constitutionally correct. That's literally all they have to do. And yet, under Roberts, they're not going to do that. Anyway. Well, really quick here. I got a video of a, now this person's a journalist and a filmmaker. I don't know how you can be both. It's kind of interesting. But anyway, this individual, his name's Joel Gilbert. He outlines the case against Letitia James very succinctly. And it's about 3 minutes long. I've got just enough time to play it. So let's take a listen to what Joel Gilbert says is the case against Letitia James. Let's take a listen.
Tish James probably should not have been charging Donald Trump with trumped-up charges of mortgage fraud in New York, given the fact that New York is a public record state and that all of her mortgages for 43 years were online for myself or anybody else to pull up. And what I found is a pattern of mortgage fraud going all the way back to 1983 when she was only 24 years old. She purchased her first home with her father, claiming that her father was her husband. They purchased it as husband and wife in order to help Letitia qualify for a mortgage that she was not entitled to. Letitia continued this pattern of mortgage fraud with her building in Brooklyn. She bought a 4-story, 5-unit apartment building, and for 24 years, she told the banks it was either 4 units or 1 unit, even though the certificate of occupancy for the building said it was 5 units. Now, this is very significant because if you have 4 units or less, you get a residential mortgage rate, which is lower. You also get almost no closing costs. 5 units or higher, like Letitia had, you get high interest rates and very high closing costs. So Letitia gamed the system in New York. She also didn't register for rent stabilization, which she was supposed to do every year. And she simply had her building is a crime scene. And she defrauded and scammed banks for 24 years to save money she wasn't entitled to. Meanwhile, she bought 3 homes in the state of Virginia, where her mother was from. Every one of those 3 homes, there's mortgage fraud. She buys a foreclosure with her aunt, and then she doesn't appear on the deed, which is illegal. She buys a house at Sterling Avenue in Norfolk, Virginia, and she explicitly says, I bought this for my niece's children to make us think that, oh, she's trying to help little kids. Well, her niece's 2 children are adult convicted felons. One of them is an absconder from justice with an arrest warrant out in North Carolina. So Letitia bought the property specifically to harbor a fugitive. Now, on that property, my colleague Sam Antar pointed out that Letitia claimed that would be her primary residence. It was actually rejected by the bank 9 times. They would not approve the loan. The 10th time, Letitia says, that's going to be my primary residence. It gets approved, and that was illegal because she got the mortgage and lower interest rates because she'd be the primary resident. The indictment by Ms. Halligan yesterday revolves around the 3rd property on Perone Avenue. And on that property, she took out a specialized loan that specifically said Letitia had to either live there or use it as a second residence. She was not allowed to rent it out. Sure enough, Letitia simply rented it out. So that was really the opening shot because that's the smallest, it's bank fraud charges with 30 years in prison for bank fraud. But I believe there's, and my sources tell me there's more indictments coming. This is just the tip of the iceberg because.
Wow. He dropped a few things that I wasn't even aware of in terms of all this. I was like, oh my gosh. Like the whole thing with regards to the criminals that were going to be there. Yeah, I think Tish James has some things that are cooked. And the biggest thing about this is, honestly, is the fact that it's all a matter of public record. All of this stuff is a matter of public record. Like, anyway, God, I hope that goes to trial and I hope she gets just boiled. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time I go live. Also, too, don't forget to hit those thumbs up, thumbs down, or, of course, if you're 3 Chevy, thumbs sideways across all of my platforms, whether it's X, Facebook, YouTube, or, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everyone.